Welcome to In Depth with Academia. I'm Richard Price, CEO of Academia.edu, and today we're diving into a fascinating paper by Silvana Dragun titled What Can We Learn Today from St. Hildegard of Bingen. So, if you've ever wondered how a 12th century mystic could still seriously offer insights to our modern lives, then you're in the right place. Let's get started by, setting the scene a bit. Who was St. Hildegard of Bingen? Now, I want to remind everyone I'm here to neutrally present Silvana Dragun's work, not to promote or endorse its content, but Hildegard is such a captivating subject. She was a Benedictine abbess, a composer, a visionary, basically a polymath of her time, medicine, theology, music, botany. She really did it all. So why are people in our own era suddenly obsessed with her? Why are eco-philosophers, nutritionists, artists, and even folks interested in alternative medicine turning to her? That's the question Dragun digs into. What is it about Hildegard that resonates right now? Here's the issue at the heart of the paper. Is there something in Hildegard's work that modern people can actually learn from, or are we just projecting our hopes onto a medieval figure? And why should you, listening right now, even care? Dragun argues it's not just about practical health tips or spiritual manuals, though those are definitely trendy, but about something deeper. It's about whether ancient ideas of ecology, spirituality, and social responsibility could, help us navigate the massive crises we face today. So let's dive into what Dragun says are Hildegard's core contributions. The paper calls attention to how Hildegard was generations ahead of her time in connecting environmental care with social and moral responsibility. In her writings, she brings together the microcosm, that's the individual, and the macrocosm, the entire universe. For her, everything's connected: spirit, matter, people, creation. Her theology of nature, sometimes called eco-theology, is all about seeing the universe as a harmonious entity, where everything reflects divine purpose. The famous concept of viriditas comes up, a Latin word mixing greenness and vital force. For Hildegard, viriditas, or vitality, is the energy driving both spiritual and physical growth. Without it, we fall into ariditas, dryness, chaos, loss of meaning. Dragun highlights this metaphor as something that helps bridge our ecological concerns with personal and social well-being. Basically, if we suck the vitality out of nature, we also suck the vitality out of humanity. Isn't that an arresting thought? But let's pause. You know what this makes me think of? I sometimes see children utterly transfixed by green plants, like just really studying a houseplant or maybe a weed growing in the sidewalk. And, sometimes I wonder, do adults just forget how magical the living world is? Anyway, back to Dragun. Methodologically, Dragun pulls from Hildegard's immense literary legacy, her books on medicine, her mystical visions, her letters to popes and kings, even her songs. There's a strong emphasis on how Hildegard didn't see any creature or aspect of life as useless. She called people to respect and care for God's garden, the world, as cosmic gardeners. It's quite poetic, and Dragun points out the really radical thing here. Hildegard was already talking about the moral cost of environmental neglect centuries before that idea became mainstream. Dragun also connects Hildegard's thought to Pope Francis's Laudato Si and to the Benedictine value of moderation. Less is more, as they say. The message is less about doing less for the planet and more about gaining freedom and deeper purpose by living more simply and responsibly. Moderation here isn't drudgery, it's liberation. Why should you care about any of this? Dragun suggests that the ecological crisis today is also a moral crisis. When we live disconnected from each other and the natural world, both suffer. But if we embrace moderation, solidarity, and a deep respect for all life, echoing this ancient wisdom, we just might find more balance and fulfillment. I want to stress again, I'm not endorsing Dragun's analysis. My role is just to lay it out for you. Maybe you're skeptical about looking to a medieval mystic for guidance. That's healthy. Academic research isn't absolute truth. It's conversation, and Hildegard gives us lots to chew on. So, as you go about your day, maybe take a moment to notice the viriditas around you, the greenness, the vitality, the spark of life. Think about what it means to be a cosmic gardener. Maybe you'll feel inspired. Maybe you'll just want to water your plants. Either way, that's the kind of question Dragun invites us to reflect on. How can ancient wisdom speak to our thirst for meaning and balance? Thanks for joining me on In Depth with Academia. Remember, every research paper is an invitation, never a verdict. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring.